Throwaway Option, a cinema podcast where we answer the question that applies to every single film: is it better or worse than Vin Diesel's The Pacifier? I'm from the sad boy bracket, Connor, aka First Round, because I would get out in the first round of any arm wrestling match, one of your hosts.
I'm next. Okay. Yeah, I'm in the welterweight arm wrestling bracket. I'll be your host, Grubby Gooch.
His name's also Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, also Luke. I didn't hear you say your regular name. I thought we were just doing the arm wrestling bit. All right, well, I fucked that up. I'm Luke from Remember the Horny Guinea Pigs episode. I'm the same guy. Now we're talking about arm wrestling. Welcome back.
And we have our first guest ever. We didn't tell you about the name bit, did we?
No, you didn't.
Well, you have an arm wrestling name for yourself?
I'm Right Hand Jack.
It's our friend Chris.
Nah, man, this is Right Hand Jack. He's signed up for this bullshit.
Yeah. And today we're talking the 1987 Sylvester Stallone truck driving arm wrestling movie, Over the Top, which I thought I saw when I was younger, and turns out I never did, because I was dreading going into this, and I ended up really liking it, which, kind of concerned me.
The first time I saw this, it was a Blockbuster video rental.
Ooh.
Sometime, I don't it was sometime in my early teens or before that.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was really on getting me to watch old content with a theme. My mom is the reason I watched all of the Rockies and all of the Rambos.
So the theme is Sly.
Yeah.
You made it seem like
there are some others I can't think of. MacGyver came from my mom.
MacGyver.
I've seen 5 to 6 seasons, not all of them, but pretty close. And it's awesome. Knight Rider is a Kathy Smith joint.
Oh, I thought when you said your mom's name, I was like, what actor is that? David Hasselhoff was Knight Rider. Who the hell is Kathy Smith? All right, well, do we want to get started analyzing the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay, so it starts out as every 80s movie does, with helicopter shots over mountains with the synthesizer in the background.
This movie is landscape porn, dude. A bunch of it.
I mean,
there's so many this is middle America, dude. This is what it is.
Yeah,
but it's not nice to look at. It's kind of just it's a mountain.
That scene where the truck is driving and the sun is setting over the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Exactly, dude. There's so many of them. They're all fantastic.
This is more.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This is the West Coast mountain-esque views. You gotta remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I just kicked my laptop.
We do the truck driving and then cut to a military school graduation where we meet our main character, Mike.
Okay.
And he's gonna go home with his grandpa so he can go see his mom in the hospital. Or so he thinks. This took me forever to realize that it was military school. My notes say oh, he's an ROTC? Is he a junior Marine? What is it? And then 20 minutes later I was like, oh yeah, military school's a thing.
Yeah.
That people go to.
No, I was pretty on board with the military school from the get-go.
You could tell early on that the kid was lame. Everyone throws their cap and he just looks ruffled about it.
Yeah, he's a stickler for the rules.
What if I lose my hat? I shall be so upset. His name is Michael Cutler, because his mom's name is Cutler, and her father is The
An
piece of shit grandpa that we have to deal
ass.
with the entire movie.
Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia. This is, instead of going with Robert Loggia to go see his mom, though, his mom has arranged for his father to meet him for the first time and drive him from Colorado to California. His dad is... What the hell was his first name?
Mark.
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Lincoln Hawk.
Oh, yeah. Hawk.
Which is a badass name.
He only owns jean dress shirts.
Yeah, man, dude. All cut
Yeah.
off. All cut off.
I liked he rolled up and everyone on the street turned. Like he didn't look that different. It wasn't like he was wearing jeans and a ripped t-shirt. He was just wearing a dress shirt and everyone it was
Yeah,
like
but he also rolled up in his raggedy ass Hawk trailer truck. Like,
Yeah, a huge truck, because that's just the
I
way
guess.
he drives.
But I don't know, he got a dirty look from a guy in an all white suit. Like
It's most
what?
unorthodox.
that was not just a military school. That was a military school for rich pre-teens. Like,
Mhm.
he's gonna get looks.
Sylvester Stallone left the mom when the kid was young because reasons, and so they've never met, and this is the first time they're meeting, and Mike hates him very much.
Yeah, right out of the gate.
Mike is just the worst.
I also liked the kid. He asks for some identification, which, like, I guess is fair if the grandfather has told you that your dad like sold drugs and took off. You don't know who he is.
Well,
and he's like,
and is also a total stranger.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that kid doesn't look like Sylvester Stallone at all.
yeah. Well,
So
I actually thought he looked like he could
can't-
be related.
But he can't, like, look at Sylvester Stallone and be like, oh, that's where I get my nose from.
Yeah, that's fair.
The kid didn't, like, only talk with one side of his face. Which, to be fair, he doesn't do... Sylvester Stallone doesn't do the Stallone voice, like, at all in this movie.
This is before.
No, this is in between Rocky 2 and 3, I believe, or right after 3.
But, like, it's not like...
Yeah, but didn't like stuff happen during Rocky filming? Like, it wasn't an always thing for Sylvester Stallone to talk like he had a stroke.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to like go back and look at the porn.
God, fine. Task me with this. I'm doing it in my
No.
regular.
I don't know, like, because that was Stallone's big thing, was that he was just like a guy, and he wrote Rocky, and he was like trying to pitch it, and people wouldn't pick it up. People wouldn't let him star in it, so he kept pitching it until he got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So I don't know, like, what before that. I don't know what footage exists aside from the aforementioned porn.
Speaking really quick of, they make a big deal about the kid being named Michael Cutler, or just Mike, because according to the IMDb trivia page, which is always so helpful, it's an inside joke that Michael's name is Michael. Because if you say it fast with his father's last name, it's Mike Hawk.
Ah! Good.
I don't think that was on purpose.
That did get said later, and I did
really?
laugh at it, but I assumed that it wasn't on purpose. That was an accident they made.
I think it is an accident and someone just wrote that.
you guys are maybe going down this rabbit hole that I can't go down right now.
No, please don't watch porn while we're recording something, Chris.
It's not skateboard, it's
It's still got the word porn in it.
For those of you that don't know, before Sylvester Stallone did his movies, he was in a porn titled The Italian Stallion.
Which he took into...
Oh, I'm doing
his
the wrong
life.
one.
Oh, you found another one?
Yeah, the Party at Kitty's and Studs, dude.
Okay, well, I only knew about the one. I didn't know that Stallone had like an
Hello?
illustrious porn career.
I guess he did.
Yeah, the party. Oh, the Italian Stallion. There it is. We're there.
So Mike is in the truck with his dad, and he is being, mad and
Pouty as
unhappy
hell.
and just grumpy. At one point, he has to get out to go to the bathroom and then decides to play Frogger.
Yeah,
But
I
with
don't think he
people.
really has to go to the bathroom. I think he's
No.
trying to escape.
He is trying to escape, yeah, but yeah, he decides to play human Frogger, and he's bad at it. He almost gets
Kid
hit
tries
by
to cross
so many-
8 lanes of traffic,
Yeah.
and nobody like 17 cars crash into each other. That kid is the cause of so many deaths. But like nobody stops driving except for the cars that crash.
Yeah,
Everybody sees a kid and doesn't
I mean,
like, oh,
they gotta get going where they're going.
They also see this man who comes out of this sketchy ass truck chasing after the kid to eventually like grab him and pull him back to his gross sketchy ass truck and says nothing. I mean,
No,
I know it was a
nobody-
different time.
I was gonna say, it
But-
was like how many years before Stranger Danger was big?
I don't know. I think Stranger
Like maybe 3? Was that a 90s invention?
I don't know when that started. I also don't know what part of the catching the kid ripped the whole sleeve off his jacket. Like Stallone hugs him and somehow rips it, and it's not just a t-shirt. Like
I
this
think
is a
he's-
whole military suit jacket.
I think he gets his arm while he's running into traffic. And, like, he somehow... I don't know, Sylvester Stallone strong? I think
also-
is the explanation for that.
I wrote down that when he catches up to him and he was like holding him there to like stop him so he's not still running, it looks so much like the infamous the caffeine pills scene from Saved by the Bell. You know that.
It kind of just looks like he's hugging him to calm him down. I don't know if
What
he
does she say? What does she say? I don't know what.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
That's all I could think of.
I mean, I was kind of on the Chris train of like, this large man is aggressively hugging this crying boy.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do anything about it. Also, there have been accidents. They then drive to a steak restaurant, which has a quote that I really liked of Mike going, "Sir, you're going to be a victim of cholesterol poisoning if you eat like that."
Yeah, the kid's a real fucking square for like the first 10 to 15 minutes.
He's been in military school, and you've seen his grandpa.
It takes one arm wrestling match to unravel him. Like, for him to be like, all right, I'll be cool.
It's pure testosterone.
It has a weird progression, this movie, that I can't follow. Because of how stuck up he is being right now, it just all of a sudden melts in, like, literally the next scene.
Yeah, the scene where there's an arm wrestling match in the bar, and a guy named Smasher wants to destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
The Smasher.
There's a very Fast and Furious line where Sylvester Stallone goes to the back to do the arm wrestling thing, and Mike's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I gotta go to work." And I was like, that feels like something Vin Diesel would say.
This whole thing, the first diner thing, it goes from just like we're driving in a truck to insane very fast. Like the beats are, they roll up to this diner. The kid is lame about having a steak. He needs a tuna sandwich instead because of vague diet. And then the Smasher shows up and is like, we gotta fight. And then they go off. And then we meet our main villain who tries to kidnap the boy. Which, I mean, I guess he probably wasn't, but he is a strange, bald man with a Fu Manchu. He's probably 250. He puts his hand on top of the kid's hand and is like, what does he say? Like,
too bad Hawk's your father.
yeah, he's like,
his whole obsession with the diet thing and the cholesterol poisoning, you saying because diet reasons, it makes sense because his mom has heart disease.
oh yeah, I
So
mean,
of course he would be conscious about
vague heart disease.
that. Yeah, but I mean, it's
His mom Mostly,
that explained it for me. Like you
That's
saying
fair.
it just now.
I guess that's fair. Mostly, it just every time we flashed to the mom, everyone was like, "She's so tired,"
she's sick.
and that was the thing. The only mention of any sick we got was that she got a vague heart surgery.
Well, and
Every
that's
other
even,
time, it's like she's just taking a nap in the biggest hospital room I've ever seen.
That's even much, much later. Like, I have a note vaguely soon that I'm like, she's got, cancer of the story.
Convenient.
So,
Yeah,
well, the threatening bald mustache man is Bull.
yeah.
I
And-
thought that was the big show, and I was really excited. I was so fucking excited. I was like, no fucking way. But it wasn't.
I have a fan theory that it was supposed to be Hulk Hogan, but that's based mostly on the Fu Manchu.
I mean, there were some wrestlers who were supposed to show up in the movie, according to some of the trivia stuff. Manny Fernandez and the Barbarian, but they weren't used in the movie because they got too drunk the day before shoot.
Awesome.
Hawk wins the wrestling match against the Smasher, and we get our first title drop 16 minutes in.
Yeah.
Does Over the Top just refer to what he's doing with his hand
The
when he
grip,
just like...
it looked like an illegal
you mean
move.
cheating at arm wrestling?
Yeah, it looked illegal as fuck.
I mean, yeah, and even in the climax, Bull constantly is like, he has my thumb, he has my thumb.
And no one gives a fuck. It's
No, he's not even like notorious as a cheater. They're just like, there's the truck wrestler man. Which, when we get to the tournament, I have a lot of questions about how that's organized, but we can... This is actually when it first comes up, the National Arm Wrestling Championship in Las Vegas, where Bull is going to meet Hawk.
Yeah.
And they're gonna throw down.
yeah, man.
This movie takes place in an alternate reality where arm wrestling is fucking huge.
Dude, honestly, I feel like it's a real thing. What else do truckers have to do?
Drive.
Well, you gotta think. It didn't work
My
the same back
dad
then.
drives trucks and he doesn't arm wrestle
You gotta think.
professionally.
You gotta think
It's
it
not a
works-
cover.
It works different, right? It probably worked different back then, just because maybe it
guess.
wasn't as organized. There wasn't
Yeah, but, like,
trucking
this isn't-
companies. It was like people literally were getting trucks and just going to do the fucking thing. They're like, I got a truck, I can pull your shit for you. What else am I gonna do besides arm wrestle this guy at this fucking dive bar?
I just feel like
You stupid kid.
if this was such a big competition and this was something that had so much popularity, where did it go?
I don't think it. I think you're overselling it for what it was. I think it literally
There's a
had-
lot of people in that stadium
I
at
think
the
it
end.
has so much
when we get
popularity.
to it, I have a little...
in
I have a
this,
tidbit about it.
in
but
this particular niche group of people, and they all came and went, and it was just them. But there was a lot of them.
Where did they
I don't
go?
know, man.
So after Hawk wins, Mike accuses him of being a hustler, which he doesn't know how hustling works, because it's not like Sylvester Stallone was like, oh, you can beat me, no problem. He just kind of did it.
And it's not even like there was like, oh, it was an over bet, right? It was like, I'm going to fight you for this set amount. And Stallone was just like, whatever.
No,
Like,
a crazy person attacked them at a diner and he defended them.
Yeah, it's
And the kid was like, "You fucking dick."
you're a hustler. That's how you earn your money, and
oh,
that's not how any of that works. We find out that Hawk left his wife for reasons.
Yeah.
Dad no life.
I thought I had this memory of watching this movie that like the grandfather had paid him off to leave the family. And so that's what I was going towards, and then that didn't come up, and I was like, where did that come from?
it's probably because it didn't actually still come up. Like, the actual reason he left, I don't think it was just the grandfather.
I think that's
Yeah, like he very well could have just
At
been
least part of
vaguely
it.
selling drugs out of his truck.
Like,
I mean,
Like
Grandpa
the kid
does
accuses
say he
him.
sold drugs,
Yeah.
and Sylvester Stallone's like,
That's one of my problems with the movie is it never gets addressed, like, why he did it. It just happened. And everyone's like, all
He just
right.
left. I do like how arm wrestling is the conceit for this to show that Hawk's like a manly guy, but without making him super violent. So you're like, oh, it's just he's tough, but at the same time he's not gonna hurt someone. Then later,
in the way an early growth spurt 12-year-old is tough.
they continue driving.
The kid continues just being a dick for no reason. Like, keeps calling him dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about how, like, oh, why don't you read?
You don't read. You don't do smart things.
Stallone has rigged up a cable pole inside the truck.
His weight machine in his truck.
And the kid is still calling him dumb.
How? Where do you buy that? What do you?
You don't buy it, Connor. You have to make it.
Yeah, you have to build
that thing. That's a custom rig right there. Like, I'm just worried about his left arm. His left arm is gonna be tiny. Like
he only needs the one.
Yeah, I guess, but still, you gotta balance that out. You're gonna look like I don't even know.
He's got a bunch of weights on the old-fashioned crank to turn the window up and down. So he's getting worked out on both at the same time.
Oh my God.
Such a wild thing that's just there and nobody ever stops. And it's like, how the fuck?
But then...
And Stallone stops the car, and the kid immediately is like, oh my God, are you going to hit me?
Yeah, like...
No. What up to this point would lead you to believe that?
All we have to jump off is the history, man.
No, instead Stallone tells him to drive, genius. And he just lets a child drive an enormous truck.
Yeah.
So many laws were broken. That kid was swerving all around. Oh my God, that was wild.
Sylvester Stallone says with a completely straight face, I always wanted to be a milkshake.
That is the one line I wrote down for this movie.
That's it.
Like, what? It is easily the best nonsense line in this movie. Like,
you can tell he's just like, oh.
Like, I always wanted to be a milkshake.
And then they go to another diner where...
Pan up on titties. Immediate change of shot. Kid driving car, 2 titties. Nothing in between.
I missed that.
I missed that too. I might have been right.
Not the waitress bringing the food. The waitress's titties.
Hey.
So, Hawk introduces Mike to the family business. Arm wrestling, where they gang up on a 12-year-old who's just trying to play Mario Brothers.
Scut Farkas, who is playing...
He is very Scut Farkas.
Who's half naked in a diner playing pinball. Wearing a vest and no shirt.
The first time through, Mike loses.
Yeah.
And he cry.
He cried much.
He bad at arm wrestling, and he think Hawk mad.
So he go cry. He make Big cry. Big cry outside.
But then...
The kids are really mean, too.
Oh, yeah.
What does the kid say the first time?
Oh.
I don't know, but he comes back for the second arm wrestle, and his friends are like, murder him! But it's not that they say something like that. They tell him to murder him.
Everybody in this movie is way too intense, or, over the top. But it's kind of ridiculous. Those kids are just... Everything's insane.
Second title drop, 26
in the best
minutes
way.
There's no normal person in this world.
Yeah, this movie is like a line of coke.
It's because they all need to be over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt sometimes like they wanted to make a 2.5 hour long movie. And then the studio was like, no, you got an hour and a half.
No.
Trim it down.
No,
but they didn't cut out anything.
I agree. I feel like they cut things out. I feel like they've
Oh,
left
yeah?
out sections of the story because I feel like the
I
story
don't
just
think
jumps.
they cut anything out.
I
think
feel like
it's
they
just a
didn't
bad
cut any of the
script.
beats
Yeah,
out.
probably.
I just thought they had a lot of stuff they wanted to expand on, a lot of like relationships they wanted to build, and
Yeah.
instead they were like, we just got to hit them all, boom, 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 and they just get announced and then they move on.
I think
Yeah.
you're thinking way too far into this movie that's about driving a truck and then arm wrestling.
It's not about driving a truck. It's about bonding with your child who you
Yeah.
abandoned for some unknown reason that we never find out.
It's about the world never meeting you halfway, Connor.
Yeah, never meeting you halfway.
Mike goes back after his first loss, and Sylvester Stallone teaches him the secret technique to turn your hat backwards, like you're fucking Ash Ketchum,
Gotta catch
and
him.
the kid wins.
All I'm saying is Ash Ketchum came after this,
He doesn't.
so Pokemon took it from this movie.
Yeah, he doesn't just win. He uses the secret technique to win.
He goes over the top and everything.
Yeah, and then wild shit happens.
Yeah, then he leaves and just gets kidnapped while Link is
Like
on
what?
the phone. Well, by his grandpa's goons.
Yeah, his grandfather has like 3 loser henchmen.
Yeah.
There's like a guy with a mustache and like a wiener and like a lawyer, and they're always just around. Like they keep panning back to the grandfather in his lair, and he's like, "You gotta get him."
Find
Give
out
me
where he
the
is.
boy.
He's driving
I
his
need
truck.
the boy.
Yeah. A lawyer comes in and tells him he's not going to win the legal case, so the grandfather's like, all right, you got to steal him. Which,
make me
if
look
you're
so much
taking
better.
notes on this about how to win a custody battle, stealing the child is not it.
No.
That's like the top of the list of don't do.
Not a family court lawyer, but
Oh, that's funny. I was just talking about that. I went on a few dates with a guy who was aspiring family attorney, and I found it not sexy.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be pretty sad.
I was down with the lawyer thing, and then he said, "Oh, I'm studying family law," and I went, "Ugh."
Kids, get out.
I don't know why.
what is the sexier lawyer that you wanted?
If I'm being kind of just went over this. I settled on Crimo. I feel like
That's
Crimo would be pretty
the
hot.
lawyer that everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know, what's sexier than a southern gentleman lawyer who's sweating way too much because he's defending the little man. I may just be a humble small town. Someone please stop this bitch.
I don't think you study Southern general law and become a Southern general
Then
lawyer.
why are there so many?
I think you're just from the South and you become a lawyer.
There's a David Allen Stern accent involved
Oof.
that you take in your freshman
You
year.
actually take 16 acting courses.
Yeah, there's a big car chase
Yeah, there is.
after he gets kidnapped. Like, there's no regard for anything. Lots of people are probably dead.
No,
Stallone
honestly,
drives
I didn't-
this truck in an insane way. He's making turns on nothing. He's
drives
stopping on a dime. The truck is driving 140 miles an hour.
But I didn't see any crashes. I didn't see any...
No.
I didn't see any destruction aside from
I thought I saw some.
when they get to the end of the chase and crash into the cars,
And his move is to fucking T-bone
Yeah.
the boy.
where he rams the car with his son in it, and no one dies from that somehow.
Yeah,
He
everyone's
knows it'll
okay.
stop him.
Yeah, like I don't know. He must have like made some quick godly calculations in his big brain of his to just go, if I hit it at this speed and they're going this speed, no damage will occur.
He understands mechanics and engineering. He was able to build a weight machine in his truck.
But he doesn't read, Connor. He doesn't read. He's a truck driver. He's dumb.
He can't read.
Yeah, the boy has such like just
Road
a one-dimensional
signs,
view.
can't read 'em.
This man
Maps.
who's calculating physics on the fly, building machinery in his truck. Like, oh, you just truck man dumb.
If this was made now, there would be a whole, like, oh, I study STEM for fun element, like, buried underneath this character.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
there would be a scene where the back of the truck opens and, like, a physics textbook falls out.
Yeah.
And, like, haha, learning is cool. Go into STEM, because that's what movies are in 2020. Well, actually, no. Movies are nothing.
Movies aren't
right now.
happening. Yeah.
That's what movies are in 2019.
Movies are Trolls World Tour and Scoob, and that's it.
Is Scoob still coming out? Sidebar.
It's direct to video on demand on the 15th.
I'm excited.
I'm actually really excited for it too, which is strange.
It looks so good.
It looks cute.
Dude, I love
I'm
Scoobs.
excited. So they have a cute truck heart to heart, as you know, all of the transitions between big set pieces are in this movie. And then they get to the hospital, and mom dies.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's just dead.
He asks for her room, and like 4 nurses go, "Oh, we gotta get someone else." He has to hear it from the oldest doctor in the world. But they're just keeping. That man was 174 years old.
Yep.
That wasn't a doctor. That was just an old patient on life support who wandered out.
It was Orville Redenbacher.
So Mike, very sad, runs away to his grandpa. There's a funeral.
He hails a taxi immediately.
He doesn't run away.
Yeah.
He doesn't run away. This kid with no money, no nothing, ripped sleeves, just hops into a taxi, and the taxi's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take you. I don't care."
Yeah.
Look,
What's the deal where a boy can be running away from, like, it looks like a parent, you don't know, you're just a taxi driver. He yells, and then he gets in the cab, and someone is chasing the cab, and you're just like, all right, well,
I
no
mean,
proof of nothing. Well, I'll take him.
He looks sad coming out of a hospital, so, like, you gotta give it to him for free. That's taxi driver code. Taxi driver code. Rule 1, we hate the cash cab. Rule 2, sad kids outside of hospitals ride free.
What's rule 3?
I don't take taxis enough to know. Hawk is sad, understandably.
Yeah.
He wants his boy back.
He needs his boy
There's a
back.
funeral.
Funeral and everything. It's just sad moments. And then,
Sad. My question was, post-funeral, there's this funeral, and the boy's back with the grandfather standing. Lincoln Hawk is standing in the side of the funeral. He's like, he can't interact with the boy. And then afterwards, he drives his truck to the beach and sits on the back of it and plays with a flashlight as the sun sets.
Yeah.
yeah, he's sad.
Yeah, that doesn't explain that.
Sometimes you just do stuff when you're sad, man.
I kind of blacked that part of the movie out. But what?
He's just turning a flashlight on and off, sitting on the back of the truck.
I feel like Mike might have done something about a flashlight.
I don't think so.
I don't know if he left it there. Wikipedia's not giving me anything about it.
I don't think so. I think he just went into his like toolbox that he had on the back of the truck and went, here's something I could fiddle with. Or maybe
it's B-roll that they could have cut.
Maybe on set they were like, here's something you can fiddle with.
He could have just been sitting there looking out. Would have been less weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in the stage directions he wrote himself.
But that was a very,
he wrote it.
Very gentle, very nice scene. Immediately followed by Hawk crashing his truck into the fucking grandfather's house in order to take his son back.
And he
right into the front door.
Oh my god, he crashes
through the
lawn,
gate,
through the gate, through everything.
He drives through a fucking fountain.
There is no stone left unturned by this truck, which is miraculously pretty fine.
Yeah.
Dude.
After going into like
still gets $7,000 when he sells
a brick and concrete house. So naturally he goes to jail.
Yeah.
Because he ran a truck into a house. I think the movie wants us to be mad at the grandfather and be like, no, but their bond was so strong because trucks. And it's like, no, this man ran a car into a home, locked him up.
Listen, all I'm saying is it worked for me.
It should
I was
be.
still mad at the grandfather. That was awesome.
I was also
In a
still
real
mad.
life sense.
I understood why he was going to jail, though. I was like, you can't just do that.
Oh, I
Hawk.
couldn't argue with the jail sentence. Everybody saw the jail sentence coming, but still, the grandfather's still a dick.
Oh no, the grandfather still sucks.
And that was awesome.
It was pretty awesome. I was rooting for it the whole time I saw the gate. I'm like, ram that truck, ram that truck.
Also, the cop who arrested him said the Miranda rights wrong, or at least didn't finish them.
Really?
He pushes Lingen up against a wall, and he says, "You have the right to remain silent." And then a second goes by, and then quieter, he says, "You have the right to remain silent." And then the scene changes.
He forgot the rest of them.
It was,
It's like 21 Jump Street, where it's like, you have the right to be an attorney. In jail, Grandpa's assistant comes and demands that Hawk leave the state of California, or he's going to be in big trouble.
Because the grandfather is still worried that he could win a custody case. Which
Yeah.
he can't anymore.
None of this makes
no,
sense.
no, he cannot.
He had a case before
Mhm.
he broke into this man's house with a semi-truck.
Yeah.
Now you won't win. He's in jail.
The world's loudest doorbell.
Yeah.
Him and Mike have a moment in the jail.
Yeah, him and Mike have a nice conversation about him leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, come with me.
And you'll see.
And Mike's like, but you can't give me what I need.
Yeah,
How
the
fun.
exchange they have is really sweet.
Yeah.
Where Mike's like, where will we go? Where will we end up? And all Hawk says is, together is all I guarantee.
Yeah, I think this
That's
movie
sweet.
would work less well if the connection was worse.
Yeah, it makes sense why the entire beginning happens. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be all arm wrestling and bullshit, but like...
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, this movie is insane from start to finish.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, there's a good heart at the center of it
Yeah.
that keeps it fun.
And keeps it entertaining. Like, keeps it... Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
watch it. I was excited to watch it.
I was surprisingly sucked in the entire film.
Yeah, man. Oh, it was good.
So
Yeah.
they go to Vegas. Well, so Hawk goes to Vegas, and Mike
Takes
goes
the
to
deal.
Grandpa. He takes the deal. He's not going to see him. He sells his truck, which is worth $7,000.
To a man in a pineapple shirt.
Yeah.
What do you have against pineapple shirts?
I don't know. It was just funny. It was like not a... Like, there was one pineapple on it. It was like a dress shirt.
I gotta remember
covered
it's
in
Vegas.
pineapples.
I feel like Vegas gets pretty wild with their...
Yeah, it seemed
I'd wear it, for sure.
tacky Vegas. And while this is happening, Mike finds all the letters that Hawk sent him that his bitch grandpa stole and
No,
hid.
those were definitely in his mom's room.
Yeah,
Which
but the
grandpa's
grandfather hit him.
house? It's the grandpa.
I don't know. I got confused because
It was the mom's room, but it felt... They were definitely leading you towards the grandfather hid them.
yeah,
And
but
it's a lot harder to blame the dead lady.
I don't
This is
think
why
it
I
was-
think there was some kind of deal to get rid of him between, like, the mother and the grandfather, and the mother played along,
Okay.
but this wasn't in the movie. So I like,
if you
I really
pitch
don't-
it that way, I could see it like the mother's just trying to like make sure whatever doesn't happen, whatever stipulation is
Yeah.
to break.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just found it weird that he found the letters in an old purse in his mom's room under like other purses. It was just like
it's part of the movie that they didn't get to make, part of the
Yeah,
extra
it
hour
was-
that they didn't get
it
lit
was-
for.
it was
Yeah,
just
it's-
there, and if it was in his grandfather's office or something,
It should have been.
it would have made more sense to me. But it seemed to me that the mom stole the letters, and I was just like, but why?
Why her? During this montage, he ends up in Vegas, and Hawk takes the $7,000.
Wait, he ends up in Vegas by stealing a car from his grandfather
True.
and driving. Well, not driving all the way there. Driving to the airport. taking
Oh no,
the
we're
plane.
not at that part yet.
Oh.
I was talking about Hawk.
Oh. Oh, all right.
Hawk's in Vegas. He bets all $7,000 that he has on himself.
God, dude.
20 to 1
odds are
odds.
20
That's
to
a buck
1.
40.
That's $140. That's a lot of money.
According to this website that I just put it in, it's 147,000 if he wins.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't understand.
I guess
how it
because you
works.
get the original
You
seven
your
back.
seven
Yeah.
yeah.
So 147,000.
But what is that in today's money?
Oh God, I don't want to.
I don't know. We don't have the inflation calculator.
How much is it worth in barrels of oil now?
But how many chickens can he buy?
Not much. Mike drives himself just like his papa taught him.
With the worst car in the garage. A truck that arguably has no business in a rich man's garage. He has like
It was
a
the servant's
Rolls
garage.
Royce and other stuff, but it's like right in the middle of all these nice cars, and then there's just this like shitty 85 Toyota.
Yeah, but that's what Mike knows how to drive.
Which that truck that he drove would have been automatic. But I mean, I guess he learned to drive stick, so he could drive automatic. Not the point. I know it's not the point.
It's not like the other way around where
I got really stuck on the truck because like
it's a weird thing to get stuck on.
Because there's so many nice cars around. It's like a garage in Grand Theft Auto, and then he takes like the golf cart.
My man.
Like even the loser henchmen follow him in a limo.
Can we talk about this inflation thing real quick?
Oh,
My man's got $21,927 for his truck, and he walked out there with an equivalent of $460,000.
That's a house.
Jesus. That's great.
He made out like a smoky bandit, man. What the hell?
Also, all of Mike's stuff where he goes in the airport and just gets on the plane and sneaks off. Halfway through the movie, I was like, why did they never remake this with another tough guy? And then all of this airplane shenanigans happened. I'm like, oh, you can't remake it now because it's after 9/11.
The airport has
That
changed.
Airport doesn't work like that
Yeah,
anymore.
man.
You can't just walk up and do whatever the hell you want.
He
apparently.
bolted back to the tarmac, and I went, ooh. Ooh. Times have changed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the competition's going down. The arm wrestling championship of the world.
There's so much footage.
It's insane.
There's a montage.
There's a lot of platform sneakers. Just an odd look.
Every muscle guy in the world at this time had to have cameoed. There's so many of them. And there's such a variety.
Mm-hmm.
The casting call must have just been like strange, bulky.
They probably just went to Venice Beach, to be honest. And went,
Yeah.
hey, you, big guy over there. Come here.
You want to make
Muscle
SAG
guys,
minimum?
muscle girls. You want to arm wrestle for a while? Everyone is so sweaty. It must have been so hot in that room.
That must have
Oh
stunk.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, there is the song in the montage of Hawk going up through the thing has the lyrics, winner takes it all, loser takes the fall, fight to the beginning of the end.
Isn't that song is in something else?
I don't know.
It might have been another Stallone movie. Maybe not. I don't know. It sounded really familiar.
I mean, it sounds like the parody version of any 80s montage song.
This soundtrack was very 80s.
Oh, yeah.
But like in the best possible way.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the name of like any of these songs, but they all fit, and I was
The
jive.
soundtrack fit.
I was jive. I was vibing. Is what I was trying to say.
So the Arm Wrestling Elite 8 suddenly has interviews with everybody, which was very weird. Like
That's so fun.
Like they never made it seem like this thing was being televised. They just wanted to have the characters talk to the audience.
Right, and that was...
It was being a I thought it was in a documentary all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Like,
First I was like, oh, maybe it's just playing on like the Jumbotron in the room, but then it's playing at the airport when Mike gets off the plane.
yeah.
So it's at least televised enough to be like a local channel.
In the Vegas hotel. Yeah, it's weird. Hawk is from the truckers division, which is very important, apparently. He goes up against his first opponent, John Grizzly, who is a fucking maniac.
Yeah, the guy who should have been the main villain in this film.
I want to see
Bull is
so
like
much...
less interesting.
Yeah, Bull's got like a bit more of an interesting look, but John Grizzly eats a cigarette.
I thought it was a cigar.
It might be a cigar, but he eats a lit cigarette or a cigar. He takes this
arm wrestling and still wins the first match.
And yeah, he wins. He beats Hawk, but as the movie reminds us 20 times, it's a double elimination thing.
Yeah, I wrote down a number of times that they said it and then had to go back and cross it off and change it because they said it more times.
They say it so many times. Grandpa shows up around the same time Mike does, and he tries to make Hawk a deal. And he's being a piece of shit, and he tries to buy him off.
Just his whole character.
He's trying to buy him off with a fancy truck and $500,000 to never see his son again. But Hawk cares about family, so no deal.
Yeah.
He goes back to
one of the loser henchmen tries to keep him talking to the grandfather. They could have had him say anything or nothing. Nothing probably would have been better. He could have just started a fight there because he said no. But instead he goes, "Hey, he was talking to you." And Stallone throws him through a sliding glass door.
Mm-hmm.
That was intense. I love that. I was yes, Daddy Stallone.
Yes, Daddy Stallone.
It was like
so he goes back.
The second bit of action outside of the car chase, which was like one of the more exciting bits of the movie, not gonna lie.
He goes up against John Grizzly again, and John Grizzly drinks motor oil.
Yeah, with a straw in it. Where are you getting a motor oil can that it's like a built-in straw, like they were going to give it to the Tin Man?
I don't know, man, but of course Hawk wins because Grizzly just drank motor oil.
Yeah, because Grizzly's dead.
Grizzly,
his insides are poisoned.
Literally had a seizure as they were arm wrestling because he drank motor oil.
And Hawk makes it to the finals, which the final round is called Over the Top.
Is it?
So is this just like a thing that everyone knows? I thought it was just a Hawk thing. I guess it's like the arm wrestling term.
The interviews also kept going on. I thought that they were gonna stop after the introduction, but it just they'd cut to the arm wrestling and then they'd cut back to Bull talking. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of footage of that. He says the first time he says, it's insane. He's like,
whole thing is
I like driving trucks and breaking arms and arm wrestling. And then they talk to him again and he's like, that guy has no shit in business here. He was mad and he couldn't think of something else to say. And they just put the mic in his face.
I feel like it was improvised.
So our final four for the Over the Top final round is Bull, who is of course from Jacksonville, because where else would a 5-time arm wrestling champion come from other than Jacksonville?
Right.
Also, they've been doing this for at least 5 years. Which is insane.
What else do truckers have to do aside from arm wrestle? They clearly don't.
The truckers are only one division.
He's just Guy. We got Slammin' Carl Adams. From the Teamsters, we've got.
Well, I feel like there's a chance they might have wanted to be Carl Weathers, but Carl Weathers was like, no.
Absolutely not.
Not doing that one for you, Sly.
And then we have Hawk. Round 1, Hawk beats Bosco. And he sees Mike again. And they hug. And Mike gives him a tender, inspirational speech. To go up against Bull.
Oh, big dirty Bull.
The hat comes back. He turns it around. In his interview, Hawk explains why he turns the hat around. And he says it makes him feel like a truck.
I missed that part.
I mean, I don't think
he missed his entire interview. He's like, I turn it around and it's like a switch and it gets me focused. I feel like a machine.
Okay.
I missed the truck part.
Yeah.
He says like a truck afterwards, I swear.
Yeah, I missed the like a truck part too.
Because I almost cried. He's up against Bull, and he and Bull are fighting. Bull's being an asshole. He makes him punch himself in the nose. So they bring out the strap, which is just like leather taping hands together. Weird move, but surprise, Hawk wins.
I feel like the punching in the face was a cheating thing.
Yeah, also, it's a double elimination tournament, as they've said a million times. Bull lost once.
No, he lost before it.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know who he lost to. There's a lot of rotating. There's like,
It's
when they
hard to
announce
tell.
the semifinals, there's like 10 different arm wrestling guys who all get an interview.
Mm.
And then like they cycle through them. I don't remember any of their names except Grizzly and Bull and Lincoln. Also, everywhere there's these little elbow dishes.
It's where you, like, so you don't move your elbow around. That's
Yeah,
like what you have to have it in.
Yeah, I understand what it's used for, but I've never. Have you ever seen that in real life?
No, because I've never been to a fucking arm wrestling competition.
But it's not even just at the competition. Like, when they first get arm jumped in the beginning of the movie and the smasher is like, all right, let's go. They have those. They pull out those little rubber dishes to put their elbows in.
So it's regulation.
I guess. Is that like making a pong table 8 feet?
Pretty much. Hawk wins, Grandpa cries, and everything is happy. The end.
He has this little hawk thing on his truck the whole time.
Mm.
And then he sells the truck and he's like, oh, can I keep that? And the guy's like, you don't give a fuck. And he gives it to him. And then he puts it on the truck and they zoom in on it and it's definitely an eagle. That bird is an eagle.
Okay. I get, yeah. Well, and then Hawk and his son decide to make Hawk and Son a truck business, and the happy ending for all, end of the film. I'm disappointed how much I liked it.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
It's a really likable, insane movie. I think I was so against it when I first heard that you wanted to do it because it's like nobody likes it. Critically, at least.
It's a very odd premise.
It was nominated for a couple of Razzies, but oh no, Mike won 2 Razzies. He won for Worst Supporting Actor and Worst New Star.
That's fair.
Even though the Razzies kind of suck. It's got like a 27 on Rotten Tomatoes. Sylvester Stallone doesn't like it.
That's probably why there isn't a sequel.
He has claimed that the only reason he appeared in it was the director kept offering more and more money, so he went, what the hell, no one's gonna watch this.
He wrote it.
He also made $12 million off of it.
Did he actually write it?
Yes.
He's got
it, yeah.
It's him and one other guy, yeah.
Apparently, there was a real-life over-the-top tournament created when the movie was greenlit. So the producers held it, and it lasted from 1985 to 1986, and they filmed the final scenes at the actual finale. So a lot of those arm wrestlers are people who actually went through the competition, like the unnamed characters in the B-roll footage.
That makes this more insane.
Yeah.
That those guys were real professional arm wrestlers.
It's pretty fucking nuts.
I just assumed they were like bodybuilders of the time.
That's what I thought too, and then I scrolled a couple pages down. So that's that. So now we get to the criteria portion where we compare this film to Vin Diesel's 2005 seminal masterpiece, The Pacifier, with our very specific set of criteria. How's the soundtrack? Where does the main actor land on the dieselometer? Did I like it as a kid? What has the director gone on to do? Was there anything as memorable as the Peter Panda dance? Who's the Brad Garrett insane, memorable side character? And is there anything as batshit crazy as the Sound of Music subplot in The Pacifier? Which, if you need reminding, they think the kid's a Nazi, but he's just playing Rolf.
Oh no, I blacked out the whole Nazi subplot thing. until I read what you said, and then I watched it, and I went, "Oh shit, that does happen."
Yeah,
So that
that's
is
the
now
thing I also
forever.
forgot about until I rewatched it, and I was like, holy shit,
I
that's
love
right.
it.
That is forever engraved in my brain now.
It's absolutely fantastic. So first off, how's the soundtrack? It's fine. It's 80s.
I like it better than the
Yeah.
soundtrack for the pacifier. What I don't like about the pacifier soundtrack, and I guess it's less soundtrack and more just sound design choice, is that they underscore everything, and it brings me out of it. I'm like,
True.
it doesn't. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you making these
But
noises?
it has the anthem by Good Charlotte.
Yeah. Okay.
To be fair, the soundtrack is not the most memorable part of that movie for me.
The pacifier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's-
I'm not. When I think about it, I'm not thinking about the soundtrack of it.
No.
I just made it part of the criteria because I was really excited.
Unless
when,
Peter Panda
like,
Dance is included in the soundtrack.
a
It's
bunch
not
of shitty
memorable.
pop punk songs showed up.
No, it's a good like.
It's good HIPAA music.
It works as a criteria thing. I just like
Mhm.
that is one where I could see other movies beating it.
Oh yeah, a lot of the time. It's kind of like it's like a layup. It's an easy
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Where does Sylvester Stallone land on the dieselometer for you this time?
This
I
is
put
tough.
him as like early Fast and Furious.
See,
Ooh.
I give this one. I put him at Furious 6.
Okay.
It's not as peak, but he has fully embraced the insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5, we start to see it. Like things really start to take off from. I mean, arguably 4 as well. Like 4 is less fun though. Like 5, we get the bank vaults, but 6 is when Vin Diesel fully becomes Superman. We have that scene where he jumps over the overpass and lands in the windshield of the car holding Michelle Rodriguez.
Mhm.
The tank is in that movie. The fucking airplane. Like,
I have seen none of them.
Ah.
So what you're saying to me just sounds pure nonsense.
That's kind of what it's like when
I
you
mean,
watch
it is.
it.
Yeah.
Just high octane nonsense.
His heart's
It's a good
into
time.
His heart's into everything, no matter how stupid it is, so that the charm comes across with that. Next up, did I like it as a kid?
I liked
didn't
it
see it as
now.
Yeah, I didn't see it as a kid, but I think I would have. I think I would have been like, this is a good grown-up movie.
Yeah. I dug it as a kid. It's not like one I watched like 100 times. I only saw it a couple of times. But I liked it, and I still like it.
I think I would have liked it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What has the director gone on to do? So the director is Monahem Golan, and he went on to make a lot of stuff that doesn't have Wikipedia pages.
What are some names?
Let's see, we got Hannah's War, Mac the Knife, like the song, but a movie, I guess. What else we got? I mean, he worked into the 2000s.
Well, that's good. Good for him.
Crime and Punishment.
That's a movie that I've heard of that. I just haven't seen it.
It was filmed in
I feel like-
1993 and not released until 2002. That's always a good sign.
Don't people like that movie? It sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
I mean, it's a book.
Someone's in it.
Crispin Glover, Vanessa Redgrave, John Hurt, Margot Kidder.
He did Delta Force
Oh, it was only released
Okay.
in Russia.
with Chuck Norris.
All right.
Let's see, we got the Versace Murder.
He did a lot
That
of
was
Chuck
big.
Norris stuff. He also did Braddock.
That makes sense.
I mean, I think it's like kind of a plus and a minus. It's not really anything for me.
He did Superman 4.
Yeah, that's not good.
The
Is
Quest
that the
for
last
Peace.
one?
Isn't
The
that
one where he disappears?
Uh,
Or is that 6?
well, I don't know.
No, Superman 4 is the one with I think that's the one where like anti-Superman comes out and fights him. Or is that Richard Pryor?
Like the comedian?
Yeah, Richard Pryor's in the Superman movie, but I forget which one.
As the villain?
No, just as a
Or
guy.
it's just like he's Richard Pryor?
It's just he's Richard Pryor.
I gotta be honest, I haven't seen any of the old Superman movies.
He didn't direct it, he produced it. Superman 4. He didn't direct it.
I see.
And no, it's the one with Nuclear Man.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it. And it was the last one until the Brandon Routh one happened.
Yeah, he disappears or something.
No, he kind of just does normal stuff, and then they just didn't make one.
He'll be around for the sequel.
Anyway, was there anything as memorable as the Peter Panda dance? Probably the entire final arm wrestling thing.
I said Stallone's hobby of crashing trucks into shit. Because it happens enough times.
It does happen
where
lot.
It's a thing.
He loves to crash.
Yeah.
Drive first, crash second.
So that matched Peter Panda for me.
Who's the Brad Garrett insane side character? Grizzly.
See, I feel like it's easier to say who isn't the insane side character.
Also true.
There's so many crazy people in this movie. Like, it could be the kid. It could be any of the wiener henchmen. The tiny murderers from the diner.
Mm-hmm.
The Smasher. Grizzly, obviously.
I mean, yeah, Grizzly drinks motor oil, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to beat eating a cigar and then drinking motor oil. And last but not least, is there anything as batshit insane as the Sound of Music subplot? Besides the whole thing, like, if we're going subplot-wise, I guess it's Mike driving.
That's fair. I say the place that arm wrestling holds in the world in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, you're just supposed to accept it as like, this is part of the thing. Everybody knows it's arm wrestling. You can go into any diner and get in an arm wrestling fight.
Yeah.
So that's that. My total score for it, doing the positive and negatives, was around 3, which I would say is just about as good as the Pacifier. A little bit under, but pretty close for me.
I rated it 2 hefty jugs of motor oil with a bendy straw.
Do you have any nonsense rating, Chris? Where do you put it compared to the Pacifier?
I'd give it like 2 Italian stallions up. Just because, like,
A thing I didn't think we were going to talk about as much as we did.
I don't know
Talked about
how.
it for a lot in the beginning.
I watched a lot of that just now. It was pretty weird.
Of course you watched porn during this entire recording.
It's softcore porn. Stop. Whatever.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's...
Um,
Well, Chris, thank you for being our experimental first guest.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
We end this, as we are hoping to always do, with a tease for our next episode where you, our first guest, will pick our next movie and give us some hints to try to figure out what it is.
Oh,
I
I
think...
didn't prepare hints, but all right. Let me work on some hints.
Alright, while you do that, I think we should call this the Coming Attractions game.
yeah,
I
man.
think that's a catchy thing.
That sounds fun.
And if you or any future guest doesn't want to pick a movie, then you can just defer to one of us, and whoever's next in our back and forth will pick the movie. So, like, I'm next in line.
But that's lame. You should pick one.
Well, yeah, no, the guest should definitely pick
No,
one.
I definitely have a movie. I just wasn't prepared for the guessing game.
That's fair.
It doesn't have to be like studio or names. It can just be like for this one, Luke told me there's backward hat vibes and strength.
Yeah.
And I got it.
Wasn't great on my end either.
How did you get it? Did you know of this movie? What?
Yeah.
I didn't know the name, but I just went, oh, is it the goddamn the Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie?
I think, hadn't we talked about it when we were talking about this podcast as a whole?
Yeah, you had mentioned you wanted to maybe do it at some point.
All right. All right. I think I got my hint for you. It's
All right.
a cruel bitch gets amnesia and gets bamboozled into a family.
Oh my god, is it Overboard?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah!
All right,
The original, right?
Yeah, man. 1987.
Okay.
Oh, my God. I love Overboard. What an insane concept.
I'm pretty sure we watched it in our quad.
Oh,
in
yeah.
college.
Hands down, we did. It's a good movie, though. And I feel like it would be
It
wrong.
is.
It is. Well, thank you again for being here, Chris, and thank you for next week's movie. So tune in next week when Luke, myself, and potential guest discuss Overboard.
I'm so excited.
Of course you are. All right, well, for No Highway Option, I've been Connor.
And I've been Luke.
And I've been right hand Jack.
And as always, these have been our opinions, and if you didn't like it, too bad, because it's our way.
No highway option.
Oh.
Isn't that cute, Chris?
Oh.
That's the name.
Our way or the highway, guys. Come on.
No, that's not what he says in the pacifier. He says, it's my way, no highway option. That's the entire name of the goddamn show.
But, like, I guess. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. I'd have to hear it played back. I don't know.